Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this video, I want to talk about the government funding bill. So in this video, there's going to be a lot of predictability, empty threats, and a lot of financial recklessness. But before I get into the elements that make this narrative, I'm going to explain to you what is a government funding bill. So a government funding bill in a simple term is that a voting between governments to see whether they want to approve this funding bill. So what is the funding bill? It is the thing that is stopping America from shutting down. So shutdown is normally when you cannot, a country cannot pay its debts, the government has to shut down and basically start paying off their debts. But US, you know them, if they have a choice, they'll never do that. So they voted between the Republicans, Democrats, they voted to see who agrees to print more money so they would survive. And that's what this government funding bill voting is about, to approve and file the case that they are able to print more money to spend. If not, they're going to go bankrupt, and that's when they shut down. And now to my first point, which is the anticipated bill. So the government has approved this funding bill, and which it's not a surprise. If anybody that knows about this thing would tell you that it is not a surprise, because America has two options: print more money or shut down. And until they're only left with one option, which is shut down, they will never choose that option. So everybody guessed it, and the only problem about this is that they only have money until the first week of March, meaning even though they approved this printing money bill, they are still only going to have money until the first week of March, which is ridiculous because you're talking about the strongest country in the world running out of money in 1.5 months. That's crazy. 1.5 months. And the richest country, okay, it's not the richest country in the world, they're kind of broke, but the strongest country in the world is going to run out of money. I don't remember that's how it works just a while ago. You're not supposed to have so much funding bill approvals. You're not supposed to, the strongest country in the world is not supposed to go broke so fast, again and again and again. And we're only wondering right now, how long can this persist, How long more can they still approve the bill until they actually need to shut down? And that's the actual question here. And honestly, the answer to that question is when America is not the strongest country in the world, which I will not give any opinion on when that is. Anyways, now to my second point, which is party preference and empty threats. So the Republicans are against this, supposedly, and the Democrats are for this. But in this voting, there was 2 Democrats that actually oppose on this, which I'm not going to get into too much drama because that's going to be too much detail that you don't even need to know. So I'm just going to tell you that the Republicans approved it again. And I don't know why, but they say that, well, the next time, if you guys don't cut spending, we will do something. We will vote that this will go down. We will shut down. Yeah, at this point, we're just so tired of hearing this. In the past 4 months, they had 3 chances or something to do the same thing, and surprisingly, there was no spending cut, and yet they still approved. You have so much chances to do it. You didn't do it. So are you gonna do it next time? Do you think people's gonna believe that you're gonna do it next time? The answer is no. You're not gonna do it. Let's be honest here. The Republicans are just not gonna do it, and it's just full of empty threats. They say, okay, I'm gonna do something. We're gonna shut down. We're gonna shut down. And look where that got us. More debts in America. So yeah, honestly, I don't know how this is still even going on, but all I have to say is that it's like empty threats. How can you think that what's best for the country in the long term is what you're supposed to do, but yet do the opposite and say that you're gonna do what you're supposed to do? It's kind of weird. And now to my third point, which is national security negotiation. So you guys don't need to know the guy's name, but there's a guy in America that he's going to negotiate with the government about continuing the funding for Ukraine and Israel. Anyways, at this point, it's already been going on for a while, so it's not really much of a negotiation, but it's just going to happen. So they're going to continue funding Israel and Ukraine. But by the way, I'm completely neutral in any sort of war. I'm not saying that who is right, who is wrong. I'm just thinking about the lives, each of them, they are going to fight, and I'm neutral about each and one of them because I know they all treasure life. So I just want to avoid conflict at all costs. If you're talking about my perspective. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it there, but I'm going to continue talking about the funding though. So the thing about the funding is that America is already broke. You know, like I said to you, they're broke until the first week of March, and yet they are still funding a war. And war are very high expenses, and they spend a lot of money. They burn money really fast, and yet America still decide to fund wars, even though wars are okay. I get that if they don't fund it, they will have problem fighting. But at the same time, America is running out of money. Why are you funding other people's war when you're about to be broke? It's like a broke man helping a broke man. It's like more like a broke man helping a broke man in a fight, which is very hard, you know. Why are you doing this, first of all? And this also includes border security, which also spends a little bit of money there. And yeah, they're supposed to limit their spending. They're supposed to cut on spending, and based on that, they would rather cut spending inside the country than cut spending in funding countries' wars. And personally, I think that you should just improve your economy, improve your real estate, whatever, inside your country, because your country is already kind of suffering, and your government is running out of money, which you're supposed to be the strongest country in the world. And if you want to remain that title, I kind of suggest them to not spend your money this way. Of course, many of you could have your opinion, but this is my opinion. And now to my fourth point, which is tax credit, breaks, and fiscal responsibility. So I recently learned something called the child tax credit, which I don't live in America, so I don't really know this exists until now, which apparently they fund kids, the US governments. And there's also the corporate tax breaks, which these two things actually affects the funding bill, more or less, which I've recently learned. And not just that, no matter what the government actually tries to do, they can't seem to escape the fact that there's an estimate of $2 trillion overspent this year by the government by the end of it. And it's ridiculous. It's very ridiculous, because if there is a $2 trillion overspending, then that will cause more money printing. More money printing is bad for not just the currency, but it will also cause inflation. And inflation is just what we just went through. And trust me, and I know you guys know this, but nobody wants to go through this again. Not just that, there's an ever-growing debt in America already, and they don't even know how to face it. In fact, I don't think they can even face it head-on anymore. They'll have to put their heads down to face this, which is something they're not willing to do. So they're not gonna do until they have to. And now to my fifth point, which is the inevitable. So the inevitable is that America, it may be entertaining to see them escape a shutdown again and again and again. But it is inevitable that they will have to face one day. And it is not a very good thing that they keep skipping it. We have to care about the well-being of the country as well. As a whole country, America is starting to decline, and it's not very good. And even though if they shut down, they'll decline even faster, at least they'll secure somewhat of a future in the future. I don't know how far it's gonna be, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years ahead, but one day America is going to get hit by their past mistakes, which is their enormously large amount of debts. Anyways, in conclusion, you should earn more money, because the problem about having national debts in America is that America is going to have problem in the future, and then they're gonna print more money, and then they're gonna have inflation. Inflation, who's gonna suffer? The one with lesser money. So earn more money. And in the long term, America's gonna suffer as a whole country. They might come down as the strongest country. They might get their titles slipped away from them. And when that happens, who's gonna suffer? The people in America. But the rich one won't. The thing about being rich is that you're always under protection from any sort of economic crisis. They keep saying, oh, there's an economic crisis, there's an economic crisis. But the truth is, there is no such thing as an economic crisis for a rich person. I know this is kind of a different conclusion for this kind of topic, but I'm just gonna put it out there, you know? Anyways, also another conclusion is that America's declining, but it's because of their actions, you know? They keep avoiding they keep finding a short-term solution when they know that the long-term solution is kind of the right solution. Because I also cannot say this, but then at the same time, if you choose the long-term solution, at least it guarantees you a future. It's like going to college. Anyways, that would be the end of this video. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you learned something out of it. And I really do hope you like and subscribe. And I do hope to see you in the next one. So bye.